Hey, I've been a while since I've watched any anime, so I decided to watch some anime. The last anime, I think last year, the only anime I watched was this series from the 70s called Rose of Versailles. Really a show aimed at like teenage Japanese lesbians in the 1970s. I don't really fit that description, so why did I enjoy this series? Well, if you've ever wanted to see Marie Antoinette speak Japanese, there's your ticket, Governor. But it was pretty good. I liked it, and I haven't watched any recent anime in a long time. Except, oh wait, I rewatched just I don't know when recently. I rewatched that movie Your Name, which is 2016, I think. Pretty good. But anyways, I had talked about that book, Last Orgy of the Divine Hermit, which I'm audiobooking right now, and I'll have a review for very soon. And Mark Lehner in that interview, he talked about. It was actually I was actually the one that asked the question on. I typed it in on the chat. I said, "Would you ever do like a children's book or a graphic novel?" And he said he started talking about his other interests in things like anime, and he mentioned this show Dorohedoro, which is the series that I'm talking about right now. So that's how we arrived. So where to begin? I guess I should say that it's a TV series, and there's been 12 episodes in this like one-off special of not really part of the series. It's not as good, but the main 12 episodes are about 25 minutes each. It's I guess I would describe it as a bit of like a cyberpunk cyberpunk sci-fi fantasy, a lot of fantasy elements, maybe like I came up with this description myself. I'd describe it as like Blade Runner meets Lord of the Rings, and I came up with this cool name, Blade of the Rings. I was thinking, is there another kind of sci-fi fantasy? And I also thought of that show, Attack on Titan. I think that's the name. I haven't watched that in a while because here's my thing with TV series. I tend to not like to watch them unless they're all the way done because I don't like having to wait. I'm a very impatient dude. So I hesitate to always start a show that people are saying, oh, it's the bee's knees. You gotta watch this show because then I get to the end of the season, I gotta wait 5 years for the next season, and that really peeves me. So I really hesitate. But I actually thought with Dorohedoro, I still don't know what Dorohedoro is. Like this is very mysterious. This title, yeah. But it turns out it's. I thought this maybe was just a 12-part miniseries, and that was the end of it. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm done. I got it. But it turns out it's a series, and there's more. And now I gotta wait. But I am glad I watched it. It's pretty good, and I didn't like it right away because the first episode there's a lot of, there's a lot of world building going on, and usually with sci-fi fantasy, whether the world's like there's a lot involved, they like just dump a ton of exposition on you in the first episode. Not so here. They really stretched it out. So a lot of characters, a lot of character histories, and they really spread it out. I would say it's like each episode kind of just reveals more of the past. It's very Faulknerian in that each part is really just a recounting of the moment that we're in right now. So at the end of episode 1, I was considered almost not continuing because I was just so I had trouble figuring out who am I rooting for. There's just so many characters. Also, the quote unquote bad guys, let's call them the antagonists. They're such a lovable group. Like they're like almost like a family, and I like them all. Like it's I could see why Mark Lehner likes this, and in some ways, I was looking into the creator of the manga, which I guess there's about 23 volumes. If anybody's read the manga, by the way, can you tell me about how much of these 23 volumes have we covered from this first series? I mean, the first season. Have we covered like 25% or 5%? Where are we, like, and how much we've uncovered? Or could it be that it's not like linear at all? Like they just take elements and you couldn't even answer that question if you wanted to. The art is really amazing. A lot of great effects and beautiful animation. I think maybe that, like, just the beautiful color palettes really is what kept me going after that first episode because I wasn't really into it. I hadn't really attached myself to these characters, but with each successive episode, I did find myself getting more and more into it. And by, I would say, episode 4 or 5, I was hooked, and I started to binge it. And by the time I was done, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I will say that I kind of expected at the end of episode 12 to get some kind of completion, at least some, revelation. But yeah, I think if you go in with that idea, you're going to be disappointed too, because there's clearly a lot more, and there's a lot of mysteries still remaining, and maybe that's what they wanted to do to keep you hooked. But I was just this feeling now of having to wait is a little frustrating. A lot of great character designs and great characters, and just really great chemistry among the different cast, and a lot of the outfits seem very kind of S&M bondage designed. The streets feel very grimy, and we're constantly being introduced to new places and new. It's just a very fecund, is that the word, show, like constantly create. It's in some ways it's kind of like tourist fiction, and that think Dante's Inferno, where we're led through like constantly new places, new characters, but there's also this overarching mystery that really makes it more interesting than Dante's Inferno. Maybe a bit more like Alice in Wonderland with a bit of like Memento noir amnesia. I would love to check out the manga at some point, but I want to wait until I finish the anime, which will probably be years from now. But yeah, I would like to read the 23 volumes. If you've read them, let me know how they are. How do they compare to the anime? And I was thinking that I was curious about the author. It's a woman named, what is her name? Q Hayashida, and very little information about her online. Very mysterious. And I almost got this theory, like maybe she's Mark Lehner. This is just a front, and maybe she's like an artist or something, and he's actually writing it. I don't think that's the case, but there is a very Lehner-esque quality to some of the storytelling that I appreciate, and yeah, I like this show a lot, and I will check it out in the future. If you're looking for a killer anime, it's very current. It came out last year, I think, and I think you'd like it a lot. So check it out, Dorohedoro.